Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tay and I'm a digital artist. And today we are going to be reading Am I the A-hole Reddit posts as I am drawing in the background. Let's get into it. The first post is by That Competition 634. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my soon-to-be mother-in-law that I'm marrying her son and not her just after uninviting her to our wedding? I, 28 female, met my fiance, 28 male, during college, and we have a great relationship. Last year we got engaged and we're planning the wedding for this fall. While he has an awesome dad and really sweet sisters, his mother is kind of a sore spot for him. She is separated from his dad, and from what I've heard and witnessed, the family don't get along much with her. If you met her, you'd understand why. She's super judgmental and rude and barely has a nice word to say about her own kids, let alone me. Unfortunately, being her only son and youngest child is her blatant favorite. She really wants him to be mommy's boy, but he's not that way at all and does a great job of handling her and keeping his distance, which honestly he prefers. Upon news of our engagement, she was super excited, very uncharacteristically. We then all realized that she basically wanted to frame the whole day around her. Think everyone should be praising me for birthing this boy. He couldn't even get married without me. From there, the craziness really ramped up. She was coming along with him to tux fittings, trying to plan out the music, even our first dance, and getting angry at me for daring to choose a dress she didn't like. The rest of his family and I are actually beginning to toy with the idea of uninviting her based on this behavior. And as wrong as it kind of innately feels, this is a pretty exceptional case. And honestly, her actions were starting to make us dread our own wedding. A further incident a few days later where she told her son she wanted to walk me down the aisle so she could have a moment with her son at the altar made me, my husband, and my future in-laws snap. We very recently arranged for her to come over to our home where myself and my husband sat her down in peace and quiet and gently explained to her that we no longer wanted her to attend the wedding. She got really angry and immediately flew off the handle at me and not her son, as though I was the one who had influenced the rest of the family to uninvite her. My frustration at her boiled over, and without shouting, I stood up and told her I wanted her to stop yelling and that she had no right to speak to me as she was. When I realized she was about to blow up again, I cut her off with, "In case you don't know, I'm the one marrying your son, not you." She didn't say anything else, just snatched her bag and left. She has spoken to me since, but she's trying to get her son to change his mind. Believe me when I say he will not. She wants an apology from me. And while my husband and the rest of the family don't think I did wrong, I kind of wonder if my comment was unnecessary and whether it would have been better to stay calm and collected. Partly. I'm just so done with her, and I wanted to let her know exactly how I felt. So first, I'm going to say my opinion before I read the comments. Girl, I'm glad you snapped on her. I feel like nobody has ever snapped on her in her life. Like, she's just crossing so many boundaries to me. The fact that you would say, I would like to walk down the altar with you so I can have a moment with my son. That reminds me of those TikTok moms who love their sons a little too much. The ones who are like, well, I'm not going to let any of you girls date my son. Girl, what? It's giving incest. Anyway, let's read these comments. The first comment is from Stonewall Brigade 21. I wouldn't care what she thinks. It seems everyone agrees she should not be at the wedding. So 100% not the a-hole. P.S. You may want to hire security to keep her out. Another comment from KCW309. Not the a-hole. You did things exactly correctly. If you didn't put your foot down now, you would have had a lifetime of drama with her. This post should be saved/stickied as an example of how to properly deal with a terrible mother-in-law, and your fiance deserves a high five for having your back. Another comment by Savina the White. Not the a-hole. This kind of delusional behavior will only get progressively worse over time, especially if it isn't firmly quashed. Either you set hard boundaries now, or she will throw tantrums at every milestone for the rest of your lives. Congrats on having a future husband with a shiny steel spine to match your own.
For our second story, by Educational Union 707. Am I the a-hole for getting my friend's title of valedictorian removed? My friend Janie and I are in the same senior English class. Janie is very smart, and when our semester ended a few weeks ago, we found out that she was the valedictorian of our class. My best friend, Sophie, was second, so she was a bit disappointed. In English, we have vocab tests every other Friday with 40 words on them. These are usually very hard, and Janie always gets the highest score in the class. Last Thursday, my computer was dead, so I borrowed Janie's to return an assignment. When she gave it to me, it was open to a site with vocab questions. I wasn't sure what it was, but I took a picture of it. Last Friday, we took the test, and I noticed that I recognized a couple of the questions. I found the picture I had taken and went to the URL and found all the questions from the test. And going back through all the tests, all the questions were there. I emailed my picture to our English teacher and let him know my concerns that Janie was cheating. He had a meeting with her on Monday, and she's pissed at me because they are looking into giving her an academic integrity warning, which may invalidate her from being a valedictorian. She told our friends what I did, and they all sided with her because she always says what she is doing is technically not cheating. I have basically been ostracized from school except for by Sophie, who is still talking to me. Am I the a-hole for reporting her cheating? So I'm going to say, well, actually, you know what? Let me know what y'all guys' opinions are of this story in the comments below. But I'm going to say my opinion first before I read these comments. Girl, you are the a-hole for doing that. Like, why would you go out of your way to report that to the teacher when it's, like, technically not cheating? She didn't go and bring it up while she was on the test. She studied it as if it was a study guide. And then, I don't know, that's like snake behavior to me. Or like, why would you expect people to side with you? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be your friend. You sound like a sorry ass friend. Oof. You're the a-hole, and I'm glad everybody's sided against you. I hope you feel bad for what you did. Now, for the comments. A comment by St. Alvis. Info. What she is doing is technically not cheating. Yeah, I don't understand what you think was shady here. This is a vocabulary test. Like, you get a master list of words in advance, right? It's not just 40 randos from the dictionary. Went to the URL and found all the questions from the test, and going back through all the tests, all the questions and answers were there. Sounds like you've got a lazy teacher. Another comment by Adventurous Girl 6998. Huge, you're the a-hole, babe. Homegirls was literally studying. Looking up the vocabulary words is not cheating. The next comment from Adventurous Girl 69 98. Huge, you're the a-hole, babe. Homegirls was literally studying. Looking up the vocabulary words is not cheating. Using a test your teacher got online and didn't even bother changing to the study is not cheating. She's not copy and pasting Wikipedia articles and claiming it as her own writing. Like, I don't know how anyone who hasn't looked up vocabulary before the test or used Quizlet, etc., utilizing resources the way Janie does, shows much better work ethic and a sense of initiative than doing nothing. No one stopped you or your friend from studying. Maybe if y'all took notes and followed her lead, homie would have actually earned a valedictorian without your malicious intent and actions. Okay, so our next story is by Scary Bertier, titled, Am I the a-hole for asking a guy in the sauna to put a towel on? I, 26 male, work out 4 to 5 times per week before I work. I am unfortunate to work at a place with a gym and sauna that I get to use for free. Over the past 2 months or so, I have seen the same man in the sauna nearly every time that I'm there. I've gotten to the point where his routine in the sauna has become too much for me to handle. I have been around locker rooms my whole life, and I am well aware that there is going to be guys of all ages, shapes, and sizes who are going to be naked. This guy takes it to a whole new level. His routine includes stretching in the sauna while naked every day. When I walk into the sauna, he is sitting directly in front of the door, fully exposed, doing a butterfly stretch. As you can imagine, the sight is jarring. He continues to touch his toes while standing, bringing his knees to his chest while laying, and just about any other yoga stretch pose you can imagine. After looking away and ignoring it for over 2 months, I finally said something when he turned away from me and did an upward dog pose. Thankfully, it was not a downward dog. I asked him to put an effing towel on. There are other people in here. To this he responded, You are the only person to ever say anything about it. It is a sonnet after all. Instead of escalating the scene at my place of work, I decided to just leave. Now, this is not something that I never do. Public confrontation is always last on my list, but I thought I was standing up for people. I thought my actions would be seen as heroic. Apparently, I was wrong. It is completely possible that this is normal and I'm the outlier. Am I the a-hole? Okay. Let me know what y'all guys think about this particular situation. I'm gonna say my thoughts first on this one and then read the comments. So first of all, this situation is hilarious. I've never been in a sauna before, but I don't know. I feel like you probably have to be prepared for someone to walk in there naked because it is a sauna, but I don't know. Is he the a-hole? Maybe with the way that you said it. Other than that, I don't really think there's I don't think there's anyone in the wrong here. I feel like, in my mind, it seems like it would be normal for someone to sometimes walk in there naked, not all the time, and doing all the stretching and stuff. I don't know. That kind of seems, that part kind of seems excessive. Like, okay, you don't need to be doing all that. This is a sauna. You're supposed to just sit in there, right? I don't know. But we're going to read the comments. The first comment from Gumboy. Put an effing towel on. There are other people in here. It is not a question. You used the word asked twice. Someone must be in charge of managing the sauna and gym. You can ask them if it's against any policy, but it probably isn't. Another comment from Spare Article 396. Everyone sucks here. You are rude, and he is inconsiderate. Whether it's wrong or not depends on the gym's rules of the sauna. True story. I was in Germany in a 5-star hotel. I went up to the steam room and opened the door to see a couple just going at it. I was stunned into stone and just sat there for a second, processing what I was seeing. They turned to me and say, in or out. You're letting the steam out. This was the This was almost 20 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Oh my gosh. Um, so I'm gonna read the responses to this one, to this particular comment. One response to that comment from one large Molly Gatwinny. So, were you in or out? A response from Mr. Mysterios. German here. Unless you are in a sauna for swinging, doing anything beyond kissing in the sauna is a reason for kicking at least. But criminal proceedings would also be possible. And while there are certainly naked yoga classes around, doing that in the sauna would also be a pretty much no-go. Our final story for today is from Electrical Mess 255, titled, Am I the a-hole for moving my family and making my in-laws homeless? I, 33 male, am married to my wife, 30 female, and I live in the home we bought when I was stationed near her hometown. I am military. When we moved, we let my mother-in-law, 40s female, and father-in-law, 40s male, move in to make things easier on us and get them out of a terrible living situation. For the last 6 years, we have lived together with our kids, father-in-law being a live-in babysitter while me and my wife and mother-in-law work full-time. We all pay the bills and mortgage, and mother-in-law give $200 a month to help when she remembers. I do all the cooking and shopping for groceries and most of the cleaning. I recently applied for new orders and was either trying to stay here or go back home across the country. I'm trying for either of those to ensure my wife and 3 kids get the support they need when I am deployed. The positions here were very saturated, but back home only had one applicant, me, so I knew I had a good chance to get it. Recently, we have found that I'm being stationed on the other side of the country, near my family, and will be moving in about 9 months. I gave my mother-in-law a warning last month that it was a high chance that I would be getting moved, and I was right. When we told them, we were given the silent treatment and now are living in a tense environment. My wife posted the results of my orders on Facebook before we told them. So I understand that that was an a-hole thing and have apologized for it. But now anytime we ask for help with the kids, like for work or errands, we are met with hostility. If my wife talked to them, they yell or are rude to her, but they don't talk to me. I was finally able to talk to my mother-in-law after work yesterday. She told me that we were terrible people for not considering what we were doing to them, that we are making them homeless and are taking my kids away. I have felt bad for how hard it is on them, but I'm also happy to go back to my family. But them saying I should have tried harder to stay and keep everything as is has me second guessing. So, am I the a-hole for moving my family and making my in-laws homeless? In my opinion, I don't think so. Because you already warned them, so they're in their 40s, right? They're grown, okay? They should know how warnings work. They should know how heads up work, okay? All right? The world doesn't revolve around you, okay? This man works in the military. So, do you know what that means if you work in the military? That means that there's a possibility that you can be moving around a lot. It's common. So, with that being said, I don't think that you're the a-hole at all. You gave them a warning. You didn't just up and say, oh, hey, get out. They have, 9 months? Let me see. Yeah, they have 9 months to get their stuff together. Did they plan on living with them permanently? Like, was that discussed? How long? And I guess something to kind of consider is like, how long have they been staying with them? Did they have enough time to get on their feet? I don't know. But you gave them a heads up. They should, and they have 9 months. They have 9 months to get something together to see what they could do. You know. So I don't think you're the a-hole here. Now for the comments. The first comment from Desert Song Lala, not the a-hole. Your career requires a strategy which best supports your nuclear family. They are upset while not realizing the huge benefit your housing, etc., has provided them for years. They are responsible to stabilize their lives, not you. It sounds like they squandered their time not creating their plan. It is well known military families move, so their anger and entitlement that you should provide for them is not acceptable. Release the weight of this topic in your life. You are showing up, doing your best, and change will occur in 9 months. Best to you. Another comment from Rob's Watch, not the a-hole. Congrats on your upcoming move. Your ungrateful in-laws had 6 years to prepare for the inevitable day when you would be stationed elsewhere. Sounds like they did nothing. That's not your fault. And now, instead of expressing their gratitude to you and giving them a place to live all this time in exchange for babysitting and maybe a bit of money each month, they blame you for their not having a place to live in a year. And you even gave them 9 months' notice, which was very considerate of you. Tell them the move is non-negotiable, that you will be moving in 9 months. And while you will be happy to help them apartment hunt, if they haven't made arrangements for new living quarters by the time you move, that's on them, not you. That was the final story. Thanks for coming back and checking out my channel. Once again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And have a great day. Goodbye.